This is Trump in the middle of all this horseshit. They just pumped out this innovating housing showcase. No description has been added to this video. This is the laziest shit I have ever seen.
Hello to everyone attending the Innovative Housing Showcase.
This is just a video he filmed to send someplace. And instead of sending them the fucking video, they just posted it on the White House web. Is that what this is? Jesus Christ.
On our national mall, very exciting. Under the Trump administration, we believe that affordable home ownership is a fundamental part of the American dream, and we're working every day to make that dream a reality for millions and millions of Americans.
Millions and millions of Americans. There's 340 million Americans. He's talking about a very specific couple of million. Also, I think did this guy come up? Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Sorry. I thought I had a... Oh, yeah, I've got to move this up. That's why. There you go. Sorry. Just a reminder that Trump's nunt is the thing of nightmares. So just keep yourself, steady yourself. There may be a couple of sightings of it over the last little bit. So the next couple of videos.
A builder all my life. I built things. I was a real estate developer. I know what it is. And I'm thrilled to see some of our nation's greatest architects, engineers, and innovators coming together to highlight
the fact that I'm covering the giant, gnarly, fucked up, cretinous, rotting flesh on the back of my hand.
Edge technologies and new...
By the way, this is turning him into a kind of a horror film villain, just where he sits like this. Why does he sit like this? Oh, the other way, actually. Why does he sit like this all the time? Because if he showed you his fucking hand, you'd barf.
Ideas for housing construction with Secretary Turner at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, who's a great guy.
So good. Fantastic job.
We're slashing permitting delays and eliminating a record number of costly regulations.
Yes, and so if your house falls in on your head a couple of years from now, you know who to blame?
We're also defeating inflation.
Nope.
We took over the worst inflation in the history of our country. And
no, you didn't.
We've beat it.
No, you haven't.
Down mortgage rates, reducing energy costs, and
neither have happened.
Unleashing incredible economic growth like this country has never seen before.
Certainly hasn't seen it yet, and it's not going to anytime soon.
Together, we can put millions more American families in a home of their very own. I just want to thank you and have a great showcase. Hello to...
This is, I gotta say, this is like for post-presidency business dealings. God damn. They're just, this is on the White House website. This is on the White House YouTube page. See that? That's their innovative housing showcase. That's super great, super high quality. That's what he was there doing. By the way, there's a bunch of, it's rather telling right now that, and this is how you can tell how fucked up the Epstein stuff is, that most of what you see about Trump will be Trump shares message on Law and Order. Where's his longer ones? Hold on the homepage. Trump makes an announcement. Trump delivers remarks. Trump participates in a multilateral meeting. Trump makes an economic announcement. They don't know what they're going to say until it happens. So they put up these things and they're like, does anybody know what he's actually going to say or what it's about? No fucking idea. Yeah, so Trump wants to be the new Armando Montalongo. But if there was one person singularly responsible for the 2008 crash, it was him and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I apologize for this next one. This is going to be a little bit tough, but I need to know about this. You guys both need, oh God. Okay, I guess it's all Supervillain Day. Subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. That's Tulsi. Part of she's I'm not familiar with her work. I know she's the member of an anti-gay cult from Hawaii. But anyways, Tulsi Gabbard on the threat of the deep state. So I'm very concerned about the deep state. I know you are.
Aloha.
Simmer the fuck down.
It's so great to be able to join all of you here today.
By the way, I'd like to say for the record, this looks like a Tulsi Gabbard impersonator. Seriously. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the video quality, but it looks like a guy doing Tulsi drag. Also, she's at a national conservatism thing at the Edmund Burke Foundation. So I'm guessing they think everybody should say howdy, even in Hawaii.
This is an event I'm grateful to have been invited to year after year, and the scheduling just never worked out. And so I'm so glad to be able to come and to be able to greet you in person and just talk a little bit about the grave challenges that we face, yes, in the work that we're doing on a daily basis. It's very appropriate that I'm following Mike Benz in this because he's focused on a lot of the same things that we are focused on.
Is he focused on steadying that camera at all, or are you doing this whole thing? Is this like live on the Snowpiercer train?
Investigating and uncovering, but really the challenges that he is talking about are challenges that every one of us as Americans are facing. And
yes, I have a very hard time getting my FOIA requests answered, so I can only imagine how difficult it is to have the keys to fucking everything in the government and still not be able to find the crimes of Hillary Clinton and Hunter Biden.
Ask is not just for a Mike Benz or for a certain agency to take on. This is a moment of opportunity in our country where we have to be very clear-eyed about the direct threats and challenges to our fundamental rights and liberties and freedoms and what we...
Oh, you mean like the government buying its way into companies and companies like Palantir getting like no bid CIA like facial recognition contracts?
The people...
Oh, wait, right. Sorry, all of us have no ability to do anything about it until next November.
Are going to do about it. When we look at how it came to be for me and for others who I serve alongside to be here.
Obviously, the threats are so great that you don't have time to give speeches randomly to conservative institutes. Does that never bother anybody? Like when somebody gives a whole like, we face a time in this country of unprecedented danger. That's why I'm so excited to be here at this luncheon. And wasn't that a wonderful round of mini golf we all got to play this morning? But the enemy, the wolves are at the door, ladies and gentlemen. And after you finish that lovely dessert, and I have to say, I'm jealous we can't do seconds, that we've got to understand that this is a time of great peril for the average citizen, people just trying to live their lives, living in grave danger at all times. And I hope you guys also enjoy, if you look under your seats right now, there is a free ticket to Knott's Berry Farm for you and your family. We'll all be going tomorrow, and I'll be leading the tour.
And to be a part of this change, we go back to the 2024 election and look at how President Trump was reelected and sent back to the White House by a truly unique cross-partisan coalition of Americans.
Yes, the great uniting aspect of, I think Donald Trump will be great for Palestinians. The thread of morons that believed that.
Who looked beyond labels and really were attracted to his message of putting the American people first.
Yeah, they were attracted to his message of putting the American people first, not to the things he's actually doing right now, which is why you're having to do a full-court press, even though allegedly we're all in grave danger. You and all your dipshit friends in the administration, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, have to run all over the fucking country talking up a big show. Talking it up.
It was a resounding statement in his win of that election by...
And the polling that's occurring right now.
A significant and historic margin. And it was a clear rejection of the status quo of the Washington elite, of political leaders who put their own self-interest ahead of the interests of the American people. And it was a demand
Crypto. Sorry. Bullshit.
for a government of, by, and for the people.
For a government of, by, and for the people. It's 2 4s. It's 8. Okay, cool.
So here we are about
My Paisley crib. What you want to eat? Ribs? Honey, is there ribs? I heard that rip when you sat down. Oh, no.
7, 8 months into this administration. President Trump has wasted no time in challenging this system, this
You mean the function of our democracy and the function of our economy?
broken system in Washington, and striking at its very root, delivering results for the American people to make our nation more safe, secure, prosperous, and free.
By the way, those are all trademarked, so don't even try to use them. Also, they don't have to be true.
I have the privilege of serving as America's 8th Director of National Intelligence, and President Trump has entrusted in me the mission and responsibility of overseeing the intelligence community, this sprawling network of agencies and entities that are
Yeah, CIA, NSA, like naval intelligence, Air Force intelligence, all like coordinating with FBI's international relations with Interpol and all that kind of stuff, and it's a lot, which is why she's standing in front of a plastic podium and fucking conserve a derp.
charged with the task of providing timely and objective intelligence to the president and policymakers, free from politicization. Unfortunately, in my short 10 years here so far, we have
10 years? It feels like 10 years. Tenure, you mean? Your short tenure? Has it been 10 years? Shit. Feels, you know what? Maybe she's right.
already seen too many examples of politicization and weaponization
Not the politicization.
of intelligence throughout our country's history. We look at where we are now. Over the last several weeks, we've declassified and released documents that exposed how President Obama and leaders in the intelligence community
Bullshit. Look at her side look.
knowingly manufactured a false intelligence document after
No, they didn't. They didn't knowingly. It's not a false document. It's an assessment.
the 2016 election was done, after the American people said, no, we want Donald Trump to go and be our commander-in-chief, not Hillary Clinton.
Although she beat him by 3 million votes.
And this manufactured document alleged that Russia aspired to help President Trump win the election.
Yeah, you know, since then, the Russians have said it themselves. I'm sorry. Do you know who Sergei Lavrov is? Head of the intelligence agency lady? Do you know that?
With the aim of undermining his presidency and usurping the will and the voices of the American people who sent Trump to the White House.
Yeah, but did they? That's the thing, is that they did impact it. And by the way, if the people voted anyways, what's the harm in going after Russia even if they were trying to help him? Right? It wasn't so much the part about them like helping him win, it's that what he owed them because they had while he was president, and his deference to them the entire time seemed to show that he was aware of it, or that he just liked having a colonoscopy every time he had a meeting with Vladimir Putin. No, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but
When you look at some of the very same leaders who led this manufactured intelligence document, like James Clapper, also had a very direct hand in manufacturing intelligence on the weapons of mass destruction, the alleged weapons of mass destruction in Iraq to support.
By the way, can I just say for the record, there is a huge chunk of MAGA and the right wing that believes we did indeed find weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. There's documentaries made by these people on YouTube about it. Just saying.
George W. Bush's regime change war in Iraq. for me to be here as the 8th Director of National Intelligence and uncover how James Clapper and others like John Brennan manufactured intelligence to try to undermine President Trump's administration and presidency and the voices of the American people, and then go back to the founding of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence that came about as a result of the terrorist attack on 9/11 and the manufacturing of intelligence to support the regime change war in Iraq that George Bush led, is an interesting bookend where we find ourselves still dealing with these same issues of politicization and weaponization of intelligence. James
Okay, real quick. Let's see if I can show you this one. Let me drag this down here. I'll show you what I mean. Link new tab. Da-da-da. 20 years of a lot of these are older. Rancor explains. Da-da-da. Yeah, there you go. And this is like this is such like honest to God, they still carry this shit around. Because the vast majority of videos out there, yeah, here you go. There you go. Wait, check this out. Pentagon withheld info on decades-old chemical weapons during the Iraq War. With WMDs were found in Iraq years ago, but kept confidential until now. This video is 10 years old. There's another one that's have we found that Tom Hartman talking about Saddam Hussein and Rumsfeld. And then this is the American Family Radio. ISIS discovers Saddam's weapons of mass destruction. This is 11 years ago. This is about the same time. I say this not because there were, but because there is a huge chunk of the right wing that still are like dead enders on this shit. They'll die on this fucking hill.
At that time,
I don't know any Democrats that will, though. For the record, I wouldn't. I don't think you would. I don't think I can't find me a member of the DNC or an elected Democrat in the world who will go, oh yeah, no, there were really weapons of mass destruction found in Iraq, right? Like it's absurd. There are Republicans in office right now that whether they'll admit to it on camera is one thing, but that when they're on shows like that, they were like, of course we did. It was right. It was justified.
Was the
fucking lame
director of the agency that is now called the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, or NGA. And he wrote in his book about how Vice President Dick Cheney was pushing for intelligence.
Yeah, dipshit, we know. You used to be a Democrat. You used to be against this shit. Now you work for and with the party that Dick Cheney was. We didn't vote for Dick Cheney. Democrats hated that fucking guy. We still do. God.
To support the invasion of Iraq, to support the narrative.
Yeah, we know. That's why they were torturing people, asshole. That was the whole point about like enhanced interrogation being torture, was because when Dick Cheney heard, hey, if you torture someone, they'll just tell you whatever you want to hear to stop the torture. He's like, excellent. Here's what I need them to say.
Of Iraq's alleged WMDs, and to support the narrative of Iraq's alleged ties to al-Qaeda, neither of which actually existed. So
also, Iraq's ties to al-Qaeda, they had ties to every terror group there because it's like a mob boss paying off different like hit squads or smaller folks, or like outbreak forces around them.
In response to this, James Clapper ordered his agency to create images that Colin Powell then went on to use to support their alleged WMD narrative. And in James Clapper's words, we were, quote, so eager to help that we found what wasn't really there.
Right. He admits, and he meant we, like the intelligence community, as his job. Like, he wrote that in his fucking book. That's a mea culpa. He's the guy saying that was wrong. That's one of the reasons. That's how you rebuild trust that you have lost. He's not one of the fuckers who's going, what? I don't know what you're talking about. We were totally justified.
End of quote.
She's talking to a group of national conservatives at the Edmund Burke Foundation. Because the deep state.
Seen other examples, those that we know of. There are many others that I believe we don't yet know of.
Well, gee, how do you know what that was? How do you know about that one? Because he wrote it in his fucking book. This is like the Hunter Biden shit. Like, he was a crack addict. How do you know? He wrote it in his memoir. Okay. He should go to jail. Sorry, you're going to arrest people for stuff they said they did? Uh-huh. Well, then why aren't we throwing fucking Trump in jail for saying he can grab women by the pussy? You don't even have to ask. They let you do it if you're a star. That's admitting to committing sexual assault, which I would argue is worse than victimizing yourself with crack. Yes? What's worse? Thinking you have the right and acting on that right to physically assault women that you find attractive just because you think you have the right to, or smoking crack and fucking your lungs, your throat, and your nervous system up. What's worse? The victimless, like, self-inflicted crime, or the fucking rampant, unrepentant rapist that you report to every week, if she does?
In the intelligence community and the FBI knowingly use false information to gain FISA warrants to illegally spy on American citizens.
Bullshit. Carter Page was a fucking courier. Everybody knew it. And the only lie that was in there made it less likely. Less likely. The one guy who went to jail for fucking with a FISA warrant was writing something to make it look less, make it so the judge would reject the warrant. He was trying to help Trump. He was trying to stop them from following Carter Page so Carter Page could go back to handing shit to the Russians at these get-togethers they had. Fuck you, lady. They lied on a FISA warrant. Which direction? What happens if somebody fills out a warrant in an attempt to make the warrant, like, they know the criminals. They're working with the criminals. I'll give you an example. All you know is that they lied on a warrant. And your natural belief is they lied on a warrant to get the warrant. That's the way people's brains are immediately going to go. But what if I told you there was a cop who was in league with, like, these drug dealers and people like that, and he wanted to make sure, because he was in business with them, that they didn't get a search warrant for this guy's house because he knew there was evidence of his business with this motherfucker in that house. So when he's filling out the warrant, the affidavit for the warrant, he puts shit in that he knows the judge will reject. Is that the same? Is that the same result? Is the attempted result the same? In one instance, you would be, in theory, manipulating your application to get a higher chance of being able to get a warrant that is not justified on a citizen. That's what she wants you to believe. The reality is that they had a totally justified warrant that would lead to evidence directly affecting Trump if they were able to continue to surveil Carter Page. And this guy was trying to end that. He was trying to stop it. The only person who got busted for fucking with the FISA warrant system ever that I'm aware of, busted it trying to help Trump.
These are just a few of...
By the way, he was not a Democrat. He was not a Democrat appointee. He was not a holdover from the previous administration. He was on Trump's team.
Unfortunately, what is a long list of known examples of politicization and weaponization that all point to the truth that many of us here in this room know, which is that the rot runs deep.
Yeah, you don't know that. If the rot, again, I think her saying the rot runs deep is just a way of, like, getting around the fact that she's going to be ineffective and fucked up in her job, and she's looking for cover because she knows the people that she works with are so ineffective that if there's a terrorist attack on the country, we are woefully unprepared because of these assholes, and she wants to blame somebody else. She wants to go, we would have stopped this if they'd have just let me. The deep state was, was tangling us all up so we couldn't protect the American people.
And it's not just in the intelligence community. I've seen examples of this across almost every federal agency.
No, you haven't. I call bullshit. No, you haven't. You've seen anecdotal stories told by people with confirmation bias on the right who believe that the federal government is the worst thing that could happen to our country because it would be much better if Vladimir Putin could just swoop in and take the fucking place over.
And so it requires us.
Give one. Fuck you, lady. You don't get to say that and move on. Every fucking area in the government. Listen to this shit again. This setup.
And it's not just in the intelligence community. I've seen examples of this across almost every federal agency.
Examples of this across almost every federal agency. And you can't name one. Even the one she named about Clapper is bullshit. It's from his fucking book. You didn't discover it.
This is some bullshit. We see through it.
So fucking lazy.
This is some bullshit.
And so it requires us all to confront the uncomfortable truth that we have these conspirators, these traitors to the Constitution, who are working within our government, who dangerously believe that they are not only above the law, but that they are above the Constitution.
I'm sorry. You're talking about Doge now?
And the Bill of Rights.
And Stephen Miller?
People who believe that...
Who? Fuck you. Who? No, you're the head of... You're the fucking hinge point in the entire intelligence community. You shouldn't be able to say people, nothing. People, nothing. You should be perp walking motherfuckers. You have access to all the information. And if these people are traitors, fucking all bets are off. Ask the fucking Rosenbergs. You can't... Find them. Fucking find them. Where are they? This doesn't aggravate people? Jesus Christ. There's a lot of people in our government that are actively traitorous and undermining the very function of our government, and it's very dangerous. That's why I'm standing here behind this plexiglass podium in a fucking Ramada Inn event space, yammering on about the fucking deep state. Perp walk 'em, you dumbass. Who? Fucking who? And you can't cite Clapper from his own goddamn book and go like, aha, I made a discovery. It's like claiming, like, you discovered the stars because night fell. Ah, ha, ha, gotcha. You were up there the whole time, you fucking stars.
They have the right to undermine the duly elected president of the United States because they disagree with his positions.
No, they disagree with Vladimir Putin's positions and the fact that Trump was carrying them for them. Yeah.
Or his policies, and that...
Which would be what?
They know better. We go back to the first Trump administration and a prominent example of then former Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. And I remember being in Congress as a Democrat at the time, seeing his testimony and the testimony of others basically saying, well, we have to protect the country from Donald Trump, the person the American people elected.
Yeah, but they didn't elect him to break the fucking law. And again, you don't, Jesus Christ, just because you get elected doesn't mean the law doesn't apply to you anymore. You're like, hey, I got in here. What the fuck you guys gonna do? Why is that the fucking standard? And by the way, if he's committing a crime and the voters don't know about it, how do they know they're getting what they voted for? How is that representative government, Miss Transparency? Jesus Christ, this is lazy.
To be the president of the United States. Whether we agree or disagree on policy.
No, it's not policy, bitch. He was fucking withholding congressionally mandated arms to a country to try and leverage them against his political opponent. People were gonna fucking die because he didn't trust his own fucking rhetorical ability to run a campaign. Is there, and again, this is, the argument here is like, look, you voted him in. If he wants to fuck a kid on the White House lawn, you gotta let him. How dare you go against what the American people voted in? I'm dead serious about that. That is an extraordinary example, but according to Tulsi Gabbard, you voted him in, and if you disagree with kid fucking, tough shit. The American people voted him in for 4 years, no matter what the fuck he does. And if anybody tells on him for fucking a kid on the White House lawn after dark because nobody, and takes pictures of it and then tries to show the world, that person is a traitor. And you're gonna fucking lecture us about fucking Dick Cheney? Get the fuck out of here. This is so much worse than Dick Cheney. And he was a fucking monster. Not only is she, the irony that she sets this whole thing, like they made up this whole yellow cake thing and they were lying about it and how terrible, and all these people were operating to help them do it. It's just fucking awful. And then they're breaking all these laws and they're feathering their own nests and all this kind of stuff. And then she goes, which is exactly what Trump has the right to do because he won the election, so fuck you. This is just like, all right. Can I just say for the record, I never liked this woman. When she was running, I was like, something stinks, not a fan, I call bullshit, something's weird. Not ever. And I'm glad that my sense of character, radar is not on the fritz and hasn't been for a long time. Tulsi Gabbard is a terrible fucking person. What she has just expressed, ethically, morally, and philosophically, is fucking vile. And ironic, considering what she was bitching about in the beginning of her remarks about what Clapper did while he was head of the CIA under George Bush and Dick Cheney, who were elected to be president and vice president. And now she's telling everybody, suck it. You can't even look into what the fuck this guy might be up to, or if he's on the take, or any crimes he commits while he's in the White House because he got elected, so fuck you. Well then, how dare you even question Cheney and Bush? One of the reasons, by the way, I would like to say that she is like bringing up Cheney and saying the Bush administration is because the vice president is in this, is the sidecar of the election. And so she isn't confronted directly by her bullshit about elections because she's not talking about Bush, who was directly elected to be the president. So she thinks she can get away with it. No, the fucking administration is those two guys. I don't care who's in the fucking driver's seat. They both got voted in. And if you're saying these two assholes should go down for everything, and their part, and that fucking Cheney, the vice president, is indicative of the deep state. The man was elected. He was directing all this shit. Clapper was complaining because he was on the inside. He was told by the administration. It's not the deep state. It's fish rotting from the head. It's exactly what's going on here. Clapper was at the head of the CIA, and the White House was asking for evidence of different things. Like, hey, do they do this? Yes, they do. But it's not the biggest thing, and it's not really indicative of what's going on. Well, that's all right. We just need pictures of that bad thing. Okay, do they do this too? Do they cut people's heads off? Yeah. Give us all the pictures of them cutting people's heads off. Yeah, but those are isolated incidents. There's millions of people in this country, and that happens, that's in this like one little area that has nothing to do with the government of the, it doesn't matter. Give us the pictures of the people being beheaded. We're going to create the narrative. So Clapper's being used in that situation by Cheney, just the way Colin Powell says he was used. Now, By the way, I have no sympathy for these motherfuckers. They should have known better. In the position of power that you're in, your standard is way fucking higher. But this isn't the deep state, you dipshit. This is the fucking president and vice president telling people what to do. The deep state should have been there to go, fuck you, buddy. The Constitution is what we swear loyalty to, not you. And you're asking me to lie. And what she's saying is, if Trump tells people the lie, who the fuck are you to question him? Tulsi Gabbard may singularly be the worst cabinet member that they have. And the fact that she's the head of the DNI is insane. And on top of all that, all the moral ambiguity and the fucking lying and the accusations of somebody being a traitor while insisting on traitorous behavior within her own administration that she works in. On top of that, the world's fucking coming down and she's at some dipshit conservative action conference as the head of the fucking National Intelligence Agency, the DNI. Why? Why the fuck is anybody in the intelligence community, the CIA head, the DNI, it's even weird when the FBI head gives speeches at fucking political conferences. It's wrong. After you leave office, do whatever the fuck you want. But while you're the director of national intelligence, the idea that you would show up, and she's like, you guys invited me a bunch of times, but I didn't have the free time until I was running the entire intelligence apparatus of the United States, because we're on autopilot anyways. Trump basically just believes whatever Russia tells him, so thumb up my ass. Get the fuck out of here. What a terrible, terrible woman. Jesus. I got my own self hot telling that story. Shit. What an, it's fucking stunning. What a fucking loser. And you know, so much of this is just the cognitive dissonance, the diametrically opposed ethical standards in one brain at the same time, and they're like, I don't care. I don't know. I've got a little fucking bubblegum machine in my head that tells me what I believe, and no matter what I put in, it just comes out and says, sucks to be you.